another Luke and Shay's Place podcast production. And as always, we ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever we're dropping Luke and Shay's Place. Hey, we're back again. This is Luke from the Luke and Shay's Place video. Got a banger video for you today. Don't know exactly where it's coming from and where it's out of, but at the same time, it's definitely hot and definitely something we need to share and learn or educate ourselves in the process here. How you doing this morning? Hope everybody's doing fine. Everyone's doing good and good feelings. Everyone's blessed this morning. So definitely want to make sure you're feeling good, looking good, smelling good, doing all the things that are good, and this positive atmosphere. We want to try to always do that, gotta have that. Well, like I said, make sure you hit that like button. I'm not gonna wait for you to hit that like button right now, because we're putting out banger videos. We're doing some work over here, so we definitely got this right here on lock. So what I need for you to do is go out here right now and hit that like, subscribe, share, do that kind of stuff. Get it all out there for us, Look out for a brother. We definitely need to, we definitely want to get out here in the algorithm, because we are putting out good stuff. And we know you're enjoying it because we see you looking at it. So definitely, like, subscribe, and share, Hit that button. Hit that like button right there. And subscribe is absolutely free. No money. $3. You good. So like I said, I'm gonna jump into this video about a young lady, at online dating. People going on online dating, because that's the way we do it today. And it's sad. It's not sad, but it's back in the day, when you got hooked up, they hook you up with a friend, hook you up with someone, or you went to a party or in school, something of that nature. But today we are basically connecting with each other more so on internet, on the internet, online dating. And this young lady, I'm assuming, she must have went out on an online date with a young man, and she vanished. With a lady by the name of Sade Robinson. Anybody familiar with the Sade Robinson story? But yeah, she went out on the date and vanished, disappeared, however you want to call it. We're gonna jump into it to see what happened here. And before we do that, though, I want you to hit that like button, because this video is gonna be banging. I need for you to get out there and hit that like button. I need for you to subscribe. I need for you to share, because we are putting out good content as always. So, like I said, we're going to jump into the video, because that's what we do around here. We get to the nitty-gritty. Yeah, it's just so rough out here today in the dating world, with all the different dating things and people having, different thoughts on dating, period. So, yeah, that dating world is different. And so, like I said, the young lady was trying to meet someone and, find love, or find someone she could spend her life with, or someone that she enjoys, or to add to someone's life. So, I mean, it's like I said, let's take a look. Let's jump into the video, see what's going on here.
He was a troller. He trolled the bars. He trolled the internet. He trolled the neighborhoods. And he was looking for girls like Sade.
Maxwell Anderson is accused of murdering 19-year-old Sade Robinson. after they met on a date on April 1st, 2024. He allegedly dismembered her body and left her remains scattered throughout the Milwaukee area.
Six son of a bitch is gonna pay. This is justice for Sade. Who the f would do something like this to my beautiful baby? She hurt nobody.
Investigators were able to retrieve Robinson's text messages. Hours before her death, she asked Anderson, "Where are we meeting?" Later, she asked, "Are you inside?" And Anderson replied, "Yes." Robinson was reported missing on April 2nd, 2024. That same day, police found her torched car, and a passerby found her severed leg at a park.
Wow. Wow. That's, like I said, wow. That's, like I said, I can't even imagine being the parent of this young lady, a beautiful young lady. I mean, looking for love, looking for a relationship, looking for a connection with, in this world today. And for this to happen, because like I say, you don't know who you're meeting, and it's so dangerous out here today. Let's jump on. Let's hear more about this story, because it is disturbing.
That once Robinson was reported missing, investigators connected the timing of the arson of the vehicle along with the discovery of the body part on the bluff of Warnemont Park.
In the days that followed, more body parts were found in various locations. Anderson was arrested and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson.
I wonder what was going through this man's mind to want to, to hurt somebody this way, to do all that to a person. It buffoons me that people can have no kind of sympathy or empathy for anyone. I mean, this is beyond, I can't even use the word crazy, because it's not crazy. This is past crazy. This is sick.
According to court documents, a confidential informant told police he was friends with Anderson, and that a month before Robinson's death, he was in Anderson's basement. He said plastic tarp was taped from the floor to the ceiling, and that Anderson told him he was going to shoot Robinson and dismember her in that room.
We don't know who killed her, so we're not able to identify a person. Certainly, we're not agreeing that our client.
And to think this person planned this. This is a plan. This was premeditated. He thought about it. He knew he was going to do this. And so, like I said, you don't know who you're meeting out here today, but you have to be careful. I imagine, like I said, a young lady, I would rather you have your brother or somebody go with you at least on the initial meeting of a person today, because especially, like I said, I don't think race played a part in it, because it is a white male, but you don't know who you're meeting and what their background is or any of that type of stuff, because you can't get to know a person. Like I said, you used to meet a person in the store or in school or at the library or anywhere out in any of these events. Now we all, like I said, because social media has taken over and this is where most people meet. But you would have at least a little bit of knowledge of the person, because you could see what the person was in or who the person was, or but this right here, meeting someone on the first date, and although somebody could pretend to be somebody, because we meet people representatives all the time. That's what we do when we meet anybody. You meet a representative. You don't get to know them until you actually know them. And so at this point in time, you're meeting a representation of them, and they're going to give you what they think you want. So it's sad that this young lady is unlifed the way she was unlifed, and the things that went on after the fact. What kind of person could do this? But to sit here and think that this person premeditated this whole incident in his head, he had already set it up. And on top of that, the person is like, another person knew that he was thinking of doing this, and they didn't tell. So like I said, I look at them as being just as guilty, because you could have told. This could have been prevented.
I killed her.
Anderson has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Did you also understand that by waiving that hearing, you are conceding that the state can establish probable cause and you will be ordered to stand trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Opening statements began Wednesday in the trial of Maxwell Anderson, the man accused of killing and dismembering 19-year-old Sade Robinson. Anderson is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson of property other than a building, and hiding a corpse. The trial began with both sides presenting opening statements. The state began by outlining Robinson's background, describing her as a typical 19-year-old who lived in an apartment on Milwaukee's east side, attended school, and worked at Pizza Shuttle. Prosecutors then walked the jury through a timeline of events detailing the night Robinson and Anderson met for drinks at Twisted Fisherman, then headed to Duke's before allegedly going to Anderson's home, where they say she was murdered. They also laid out a timeline they allege shows Anderson's attempts to cover up the crime, including dismembering Robinson's body, discarding the remains, and allegedly taking her car and burning it behind an abandoned building. Graphic photos and videos were presented in court, along with phone records, surveillance video, and alleged DNA evidence to support the state's case against Anderson. In total, the state's opening statements lasted less than 30 minutes. The defense's opening statements, which were under 20 minutes, leaned heavily on the lack of DNA evidence. Defense attorney Anthony Cotton told the jury that no DNA or blood from Robinson was found in Anderson's home. Cotton said that the gloves discovered with blood on them contained no trace of Anderson's DNA, and results for Robinson's DNA were inconclusive. The defense also noted no murder weapon was found, and there's no evidence Anderson purchased any tools like saws or knives, nor did he have a suspicious internet search history related to dismemberment. They pointed out Anderson never attempted to change his identity and claimed the state is relying on the emotional weight of the case to secure it to conviction. 5 state witnesses have testified so far, including the man who discovered Robinson's severed leg at Warnemont Park, 3 law enforcement officers who responded to the scene, and the water superintendent of Cudahy at the time the alleged crime took place. The state's first witness, Osiris Terrell, the man who found Robinson's leg at Warnemont Park, took the stand first. Terrell testified that he and a friend initially thought the leg they saw on the beach in Cudahy belonged to a mannequin until they got closer and realized the horrifying truth. He said they immediately called police. Body camera footage from Milwaukee County Sheriff's Deputy Leon Martin showed him responding to the lakefront portion of Warnemont Park after 2 men called 911 to report finding a severed leg. The footage captured Martin speaking with the men who discovered the leg before examining it himself. After deputies and Cudahy police confirmed it was a human leg, they called in crime scene investigators from the sheriff's office.
Well, see, it takes a different turn because if they say they didn't find any evidence or any type of blood, her blood in his home or in the basement, I wonder, well, like I say, I mean, it got so many things today. That is, let's listen on. I don't know.
In court, Detective Joanne Donner described what she observed when her team arrived at the location. When the leg was being removed, the fold of skin and flesh had moved away from the bone. You could see that it was severed below the top ball of the femur, Donner explained. It looked like it was a tool mark. It was very smooth. I noticed that the skin had kind of a long zigzag pattern to it. That's why I was able to determine that it was probably not from like an accident, a boating accident or anything like that. On Tuesday, 12 women and 3 men were picked to serve as jurors. During jury selection, prosecutors spent time asking about people's tolerance for gruesome pictures, including mutilated body parts and blood. A lot of potential jurors raised their hands at that point, noting they'd be uncomfortable. It is actually a homicide case that deals with the dismemberment of a human body. The testimony that you hear if you're on this jury will be graphic at times, said Ian Vance Curzon, assistant district attorney. You are going to see images of dismembered human body parts. Does anybody feel that it would be so bothersome to you that you wouldn't be able to even focus? The defense also brought up this question, but it was framed to jurors who work in the healthcare field, those who see graphic things daily. A handful of jurors in the medical field responded to the defense's questioning. I know a few of you are nurses or involved in medicine. Can you raise your hand if you're a nurse or worked at a hospital? Said Jason Finling, defense counsel for Maxwell Anderson. Okay, and That's probably why you didn't raise your hand when they were asking about the gruesome photos and gruesome evidence, as you do that somewhat in your career path.
If you're looking to get money you're owed for an
Potential jurors also answered questions about whether they knew anyone involved in the case, whether they had ever been a victim or witness of a homicide, and whether they had consumed any media regarding Maxwell Anderson or Sade Robinson. Robinson's family and friends were present in the courtroom. Anderson's parents were also in attendance. Sade Robinson was last seen on April 1st, 2024. On April 2nd, authorities found the first of several remains belonging to Robinson's severed leg in Warnemont Park, 11 miles away. Family members say Robinson's car was found burned near 30th and Lisbon on Milwaukee's north side. 2 days later, on April 4th, Anderson was taken into custody as a person of interest related to the severed leg found in Cudahy. On April 12th, Anderson was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson. Prosecutors allege that he killed Robinson following a first date.
See, this is where it gets a little confusing. If they're saying they didn't find anything, any type of evidence that would show that he committed the crime, but I guess because I guess they're holding him now just because he was the last person to see us, so to say. But I'm trying to figure out how, if you didn't find any evidence, he was it was said that he could be charged with these things. So, I mean, like I said, I don't, and I'm not saying I don't know the story. I'm just saying if you didn't find any evidence at my house or anything like that, and I'm trying to figure out what would they hold them on for them to arrest them for the crime when they don't have any evidence of the crime in his house. All they got is the first date. But like I said, I don't know. So I don't claim to be anybody that would know the law or why the law goes this way. But by them picking them up and arresting them and saying they held them on whatever charges they held them on, I'm wondering why they did it. Let's listen on, see what else they say here.
That same day, law enforcement officially declared Robinson dead. 6 days later, on the morning of April 18th, someone walking along the beach on Lake Michigan in South Milwaukee found Robinson's torso and arm. On April 22nd, Anderson was back in a Milwaukee County courtroom, where he entered a plea of not guilty to intentional homicide, mutilation, and arson, and waived his right to a preliminary hearing. A month later, another one of Robinson's body parts was found, this time on a beach in Waukegan, Illinois. In June 2024, Robinson's family filed a civil lawsuit against Anderson, asking for damages as well as all proceeds from the sale of his home. Previous coverage: Sade Robinson's family files wrongful death civil suit against Maxwell Anderson.
Wow. That's sad. That is absolutely
the fastest way to get in.
That is absolutely sad. Well, there you have it. That's my video right there. And they still, I'm gonna have to look more into this. I'm gonna have to do a follow-up video on this because I'm gonna have to look into this because I basically the guy's in the trial is going on trial for the murder of the young lady, but with no evidence to hold. So that's just kind of like they don't know who actually did the unlifing of the young lady. Nobody, they don't really know, and they're assuming that this guy did it, which like I said, and for all intents and purposes, being that's the person she was going to meet on the date. I guess you would assume he did it, I guess. Okay. So, like I said, that's my story. It's a little bit confusing. I will promise to do a little bit digging into that. You will find this video down in the description with any other information. with more information on different things. But at the same time, it's a sad story. I imagine the parents, like I say, because they still haven't. You still don't know who did it to your daughter. You know your daughter's gone, but you don't know who did it. You know she's unalive, but you don't know who did it. And I imagine that could be just as bad, because it's a sad story. It's a sad story. But I'm gonna look more into it because I want to see what happened. I don't know how long ago this was. If anybody else have any information on it or know anything about the Sade Robinson case or any of those things, by all means, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you know, what you heard. And we're going to end this video right here. Again, this is the LUKE-N-SHAE'S podcast. We're putting out good videos every day, sometimes 3 and 4 times a day. So like, subscribe, and share, and, join our family. Because if you're a family, we love you. And if you're new, by all means, subscribe and join the family. And this is another LUKE-N-SHAE'S podcast. And as always, we say stay safe in the streets. Keep your head up, and definitely